This is the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Matt. In this podcast, we're going to discuss growing companies, automation and manufacturing,
and how we're building the lives and businesses we want to see in the world.
So as we always start with general feelings of the week, how Matt and Michael are feeling, a little bit about sales and marketing processes that we're working on. Next, engineering and R&D, what's kind of going through our shops, company-wide updates and improvements, talking about CIs, ways we're trying to be a little bit leaner and efficient with the limited resources we do have, and then a little bit about ourselves kind of at the end, or sometimes we'll challenge each other on things we think we need to be doing differently in each other's business.
All right, sounds good. Do you want me to kick us off with feelings, I guess, of the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I've definitely been trying to focus more on like being a good steward of the business, being a parent to the business. Especially over the last couple of days. I've noticed like this trend, and I think you've seen me do this over and over of, we'll maybe sell a little too much or have a labor challenge or what have you, and then I get, caught up working in the business. And a lot of the last couple of months has been like doing that by necessity, while we were short-staffed, and also just the very exhaustive process of hiring. So at this point, I've been interviewing people for a couple of months. We hired 2 assembly techs, which has been great.
Nice.
I think all of the positions were like 200 to 500 applicants. And then, so it was a lot of work, and I really put a lot of time into trying to hire the right people. And then we're also trying to still recruit a head of engineering. I have one guy I really, really am excited about, but until they sign on the dotted line, and actually join the team and are there for a little bit, I try not to get too excited anymore. Because
yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. I tend to always be very optimistic, and that's something my wife Amanda's kind of told me too. She's like, you always say this out of the gate. Let's just wait a couple weeks and see how something is. Like, it doesn't matter when I meet somebody or like starting something else. She's like, just give it a couple weeks. Let's check back. It's always a good mindset to start with, because it's always rose-colored glasses at the beginning of most things.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I've done that has been transformative for my hiring process, we pay someone like above rate to come in as a consultant for a couple of days, see if they can contribute something of value. And that's such a good litmus test. I've had people who best interviewers in the world, and then, they don't actually have the capacity to do the work. Right. And especially like the head of engineering position. I saw that on multiple different like consulting trial days, where they just, don't know the software or don't know how to tap a hole, or they put, a metric Allen key into an imperial bolt and they strip it. Like little things that shouldn't be happening at a position of that caliber. But on the other hand, like it has been a drain for me of just like spending so much time checking in with, people doing a trial day, so much time interviewing.
Yeah, we've never done trial days like that. We've done like tests, if you will, like here's do this engineering challenge or something like that. We're going to pay X dollars in gift cards.
Yep.
Don't spend more than this is kind of the expectation. We've never done more than that, other than when we've done like co-ops or internships, where like there's no expectation after like, whether it's a couple weeks or a month.
Yep, for sure.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and I guess like other than being kind of overwhelmed with hiring, I've also been a little bit overwhelmed with trying to run the shop floor until that, engineering staff is, and the kind of leadership level staff is there. So it does feel like I'm kind of running around doing everything, right? I'm like head of engineering, head of sales, head of operations. Like
it gets draining.
Yeah, and I'm really desperate to get one of those things off my plate. And even to that end, I guess like just being a little bit tired and like a tad burnt out is kind of where I'm at right now.
Tired resonates well with me.
And we had this intraload install, and the intraload is at a point where it's pretty polished. We've done more of these reboot UMC 750 installs than anything else. It fits that machine so perfectly. But especially when I'm already a little burnt out, man, was it a blow to see Haas randomly took the new door and then threw it onto their old machine for whatever reason, and now we got to like engineer an on the spot workaround, right? Which was not ideal for my like the current level of effort my mind was wanting to put in.
You just want one of those to go smooth, don't you?
Oh man, yeah.
It's like there's
Um,
always something on a semi-custom turnkey project. There's always
yeah.
like one little gotcha, I guess, at the finish line.
Yeah, and that's one challenge too. Like we have this like 10% of customers. Like I think everyone knows like machine shops can be notoriously difficult, right? It obviously depends on the shop, but we have like a 10% of our customer base who, um, I've really been trying to be more disciplined about like, hey, no, like this is what you purchased, this was the scope of work, this is what you spec'd out. Um, because it's really gotten to be a problem of we're dealing with like scope creep, random changes. Customers try to change the part in the middle of a project or change the stock, um, and obviously like those have a very real engineering cost. And if you're not careful, you can be upside down on these projects in a hurry.
It's interesting too when I'm sure you've seen this when you're smaller and you're like, oh, we just want the stock change and you're the one doing it. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, I know how to
Yeah.
skip all the processes and get this done in 20 minutes.
Hmm.
But now when you have to follow the processes or your team does because you put them in place to make sure that when you ship something, it meets the standards, that cost is much greater just inherently. And so now all of a sudden those things you're like, oh, we can do this, we can do that. It's like, you just really shouldn't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough too, like moving from that like bootstrapping spot to like learning to be like disciplined. I mean, like, okay, it's not a no, but it's not free either, right?
Yeah. I
Um,
know I
eh,
really struggle with that.
yeah.
So I give you credit for holding yourself accountable because I still struggle with that at times where it's like sometimes too much of a people pleaser on
Yep.
once the project's rolling and it's like, they didn't plan for it either.
Hmm.
Now they got to go to management and talk to it. It's like, I want to make them look good because I'm always worrying about the next project and making sure that I maintain relationships.
I'm with you there. But the it all depends on the person too. Like, we can be dealing with one person in the company and they're amazing. And then, you know, it, we get handed off to somebody else once the project's actually been started, um,
Yeah,
who
we've seen.
maybe, yeah, is the actual machinist on the floor or this or that. And over the years, I've had a couple that were just like completely combative and very like anti-automation in general.
I,
Um, yeah.
I think that the context I wanted to add though to like, me wanting to be a people pleaser to it.
Hmm.
What's interesting is I think me actually trying to do that at times worked against us
Oh yeah.
because I found out that actually being more candid and being like, this has a cost to us. I found out that our really good customers were like, oh, really? We had no idea. And knowing that we want you to be like, I can think of some very real conversations where it's like, we want you to be our supplier XYZ in the future. If we're squeezing you that tight
Right.
on certain things, that's not sustainable.
Yep.
Like, and like when I've heard that from our customers, I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. They really do care.
Yeah.
There are some really good ones out there.
Yeah. And that's the 80%, right? But it often can become a squeaky wheel problem, and
For
that's
sure.
just been on my mind as of late.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I guess tired, a little bit overwhelmed. I haven't been doing enough sales and marketing stuff. It's been kind of ops, and I'm really trying to get back into like okay, wear the CEO hat. Like look at the metrics of the company. The focus on the long term. But it's also hard when you got you know um, engineering work and Gantt charts and things that have to be met. And if you just don't have the talent there for to actually make the work happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I jump in and then
And you're drained out and sales drop
yep,
and you go
yep,
through the standard entrepreneur sine wave.
yep. So breaking the sine wave. That's my focus now.
That'd actually be a good line for some of these for a podcast here.
Yep. Yep.
That'd be a good one. All right.
What about you?
And
How have the last 2 weeks been?
I am tired as well, Michael. I am so happy to be home. Oh my gosh. Like I like doing trade shows. Doing three back-to-back weeks of shows. Thankfully, one was a very short show, but man, probably not my brightest decision in my life.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do things that are needed because we wanted to hit some of our goals for the year on lead generation, quotes out, and we were like right there based on the current stuff that was trending. It's like we're either gonna like just make it or just not. So we layered in a couple shows there to make sure that
Yeah.
we beat our numbers. is
One thing
really
with
what.
the shows maybe to consider, like I try to look at the people like in my space in our industry who are doing things at like a higher level than we are, and I try to use them as a guide, like how to design a trade show booth, what trade shows to go to, and you know, obviously we're a fifth axis work holding dealer, but they have mastered the trade show. They go to more trade shows than any other company that I know
Mm,
in the space. And
interesting.
one thing I've noticed is like, the CEO and the president are there for a day or two, right? And typically those days don't overlap. And they'll fly around, but they won't be there all 5 days of every show, right?
Yeah, that's definitely something we need to be looking at as we go into 26, and that's something we're looking at on our kind of hiring pool is how do we layer in some sales and get Matt out of the all the sales now that we've really the big thing has been just we wanted to build the process first. And so then there's something very plug in because I don't want to hire some salesperson to be engineering how our funnel's working for marketing,
Yep.
how we're working with engineering and expectations of engineering. I just felt like it would be too many strains, if you will, or too many cooks in the kitchen. So
Yep.
that was part of it, but we've really dialed a lot in. So I'm agreeing with you there that I need to spend less time actually scanning leads is probably the best way to
Yeah.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I've been contending with a lot too. Like as we're hiring, we've known we've needed to hire people. There's been a lot of debate about who to hire. What roles are the most important? Because I'm in this spot where I can kind of do a bunch of stuff, but need to narrow it and scope it down and take that
Mhm.
time I save and just work on the business. And
Exactly.
the that's one thing that's real tough as well. Is like, do you hire someone who's been in the industry for 15, 20 years who, can build those things from the ground up, who can, build the sales process and possibly do it better than you? Or do you, kind of bring in a lower level, much less expensive person and then, mentor them having them follow along with SOPs rather than trying to, bring their own playbook.
Yeah. For me personally, I knew I didn't want to bring in and follow the standard sales process because I don't believe in the way a lot of automation equipment's been sold
Mhm.
uh, traditionally for the future. Like it worked, it still works. I personally don't want to develop on that model. Ours has been more on relationship structuring, building SOPs around going about it that way, and less about just making sale and moving forward, but then also keeping our engineering involved. So when we do land a deal, it's not this giant what the heck just happened with
Yeah.
sales. They're telling us we got to do this $2 million project in 9 months. I know nothing about it. And then there's this paranoia. So making
Yeah.
sure that we don't let these silos occur has been one big objective I've had. And I'm seeing a lot of momentum around it because we're as we're coming into the end of the year here, we're closing deals faster than I've ever seen in develop history, and we're onboarding them faster than I've ever seen in history too. While we can't start them all immediately, we're having a solid process to get them through and figure out how stuff's going to go systematically as their project starts rolling. And it's
Yep.
just I'm really enjoying seeing that. Now I'm trusting what we built. So that's where I'm going, okay, now it's time for me to get out of the way. Kind
Yep.
of like I did in engineering where I guess I'm kind of jumped out of there a little bit quicker where
Yep.
four stuff was built because we needed sales. But
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, I definitely want to make that jump out of engineering to where I still want to do like the high level, like, here's the concept. But honestly, I feel like I'm at the point, like, I don't want to do design work. Like, I want to scope it out, maybe open SolidWorks and pan around an existing model and make a Loom video that gets delegated for the actual work. But I don't want to be the person, like, making the models, exporting the work orders anymore. Right.
yeah, I guess if I could pick anything engineering to get back into, I'd love to still do like more of the industrial design and aesthetics of machines.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's still like I have this weird itch for like how stuff looks. I know you gave me a lot of crap about it when you came on the floor because I know we have definitely overspent on a few things and cut or lost a little profit because of it. But man, I love it when our machines look as good as they perform.
Yeah. Well, I have kind of an anecdote about that too. Like my I don't know if I told it. this update was there when I finally sold the plane. Did I tell you that a couple of weeks ago
Yeah,
when
you
we
told me
last talked?
that. Yeah.
And there were some purchases that were kind of like discretionary purchases that I was kind of questionable whether we could justify them. We bought like a little CNC press brake that was $10,000, and we bought this whole laser cutting system, which it's the X Tool F2 Ultra. I think it has a little conveyor belt and it like auto aligns parts.
Yeah.
And like they both work and they're both great, but that was $17,000. And then I looked at how much percentage of time like we're actually using those machines, and I was like, oh shit, this is like a 4-year ROI. Like that is not where the capital should have been going. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been on this weird, for the last, I'd say year and a half, is literally just removing things that we're doing and focusing on bigger things.
Hmm.
Uh, so next year it's like, what are the big CIs or R&D initiatives we want to do? Next year, like last year was a long laundry list. Next year, it's like we have a few big things we want to get done. And I'm liking seeing that. They cost more. They're far more engineering hours to do them, but the impact of the business is so much greater.
Yeah, for sure.
But we
Yeah.
just got so much cleanup too.
Yeah.
Next year and a half after these big growth curves.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The focusing on fewer, bigger things, but that you have to triage to an extent too. Like especially in my position, my original highest level engineer, took leave, ended up quitting at the end of that leave, which left a hole in the business. And I think I didn't really understand like how much tribal knowledge was there and undocumented until we didn't have that person present anymore, right?
Yeah, that's a real cost. Yeah.
Yeah. And a little bit of chaos ever since, but I feel like I'm finally at the turning point where it's like, okay, we're gonna get a person on board, hopefully. I'm excited about get them integrated in, and yeah.
Having gone through that a little bit, Michael, you're still probably a ways from feeling like you're through. Like I went through that wave where I was like, oh, we're through it. We're through it. Just like we started the podcast, I think I'd maybe wait a little bit and be a little bit more realistic, because from my experience, we're now a full year post that challenge, if you will, of a team member needing to leave. And I'd say we're really in the position where I'm starting to see that, but we're still looking at like, all right, we want to rebuild some of these architectures for software that are legacy because of the way things used to be done. And I'm looking at that going still into 26, which is going to probably be a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's more like, I don't think I'm done by any means. It's just that like I see some light at the end of the tunnel. Like, after burning through 200 applicants, and finding like 4 that we liked, and then, a couple that had good trial days, like feeling like that there's a pathway there that might not be months away to get started. Right.
Yeah. Your mental pain is far less, but your cash costs are not gone.
Yeah.
Is probably the best way I would put it, because there's a huge relief that hits there. And that's probably the best thing, is you need to free up that mental bandwidth, which is going to be awesome for you. Yeah.
And all this was exacerbated by us having like the best sales month ever in the automation business in September. Right when, we have to deliver on all this work, like even if we were fully staffed up, without overtime, we would have really struggled to deliver. And, I hate running late on projects. We've been running like a week late on every major project, which sucks, but that's where the whole team, busting their ass to make everything happen.
Yeah. One week doesn't seem terrible as long as you're getting it back in front of it.
Yeah. But, the customer base is an important thing to think about, because there's a lot of pressure on our customers. It's a tight margin industry. They want to focus on their thing. And I want to enable their business. Right. So now that's not to say that like most customers are reasonable. Every once in a while, someone flips out over, a week-long delay. And it is what it is. But it does, candidly bother me to run late, especially on more than one thing.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned you have those deadlines, then like, okay, the deadline is the deadline. Yeah.
Yeah, the committed deadlines kind of, if you talk about OKRs, going back to that, is what are the committed deadlines? Those are project Gants. What are aspirational deadlines? Those are OKRs, CIs, and R&D initiative stuff that's for the company that, we have flex around it. Sometimes we do have, ones that are triggers that impact other ones, but yeah, at the end of the day, it all drives back to the customers because they're the lifeblood of the business.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Want to move on to sales and marketing? I think you probably got a lot with all the trade shows.
Sales and marketing. MD&M and Eats. So these were three of the lowest, and then we did Brats and Robots, which is a local regional show.
Mhm.
Three of the lowest attended shows we've ever done. Kind of anticipated that. I mean, we've done, or I guess done recently. Let's put it that way. We've done other shows in the past that were pretty low. You look at like Pack, Promat, Automate, those are all just monster shows. They're huge.
Mhm.
MD&M Eats and Brats and Robots are kind of like smallish regional shows. What I found very interesting is while we didn't talk to nearly as many people, the quality leads was really good. Like I don't have as many people to follow, not as many 4 and 5 stars of quantity, but like I was still really impressed with some of the stuff we got out of it. So that's going to be intriguing to see the data in the future because I remember after day one of MD&M, we're like, geez, I don't know. And then last day of Eats was like, holy crap, what are we doing here? Like
Yeah.
the entire team scanned 2 people.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
like that
that's
was
rough.
that was rough. Um, so that's kind of an interesting question. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if we'll do Eats again, MD&M maybe. But either way, we got some good meetings out of it. We've got a couple new projects coming through that I'm really excited about that, of course, wanted to get inked while we're
Mhm.
at the shows.
Oh, that's fun.
So
Yeah.
nothing like reviewing legal when you get back from standing on your feet and talking to 400 people. But
Yep.
yeah, that's cool to see. I've got one project I'm really excited about, a packaging and palletizing project where they're starting with a proof of concept, which I love when we do that because there was some questions around how
Mhm.
we could actually pick this product. Same thing we kind of saw with 1701, where there's, questions about how you're going to pick it. This one, we're doing a very strict proof of concept, and then it rolls into their full machine design. But they also wanted help because they're setting up this new line. We're getting free reign of packaging design for automation,
Oh, that's cool.
which we've never had that. So we're working, they've selected their corrugate supplier, they've selected their supplier for their product packaging. They have rough design started. I'd say they're 80 to 90% of the way done. We get to specify all the tolerances and any major changes that are needed for automation, and that's it. So that's a really nice carrot to have on there, having struggled
Mhm.
with so much
Yeah.
predefined packaging on previous
Right.
projects where it's like, if this case was literally an eighth inch bigger, we probably could have saved 50 grand on engineering.
Yeah.
Like things like that. So I know the team's very excited about that. So we'll see how that rolls through here as that actually just kicking off here this week. So that's cool.
Cool. Any marketing stuff?
Marketing is agencies doing, they actually just got done with their complete analysis of what's kind of done for trends of traffic, what we're seeing on our site, and what they want to do next year. I'm actually leaning out quite a bit of our marketing budget next year. We had spent quite a lot ramping up and not necessarily leaning out across just to cut dollars. It's more or less, I want to focus on a couple key areas of SEO, a couple key areas of our um, video. And so by doing that, I think we're going to just focus even more on the quality of those specific verticals and then just let the other verticals we have on our site just continue to do what they're doing because there's some stuff that's working good and some that's not.
Yep. Makes
So that's
sense.
probably the best way to look at it. 80/20. There's
Yep.
about 20% of the pages that really we want to hone in on over the next 12 months.
Yeah. Awesome.
So nothing too crazy other than that. I'm trying to think. Don't build a crate for going to shows that barely fits into a semi the widthways.
I discovered with these interload installs, we can just go buy a crate on Uline, and it's like $1,000, and it's way nicer than the crate that we've historically made for these things.
Oh,
Which has
really?
been, yeah, like
You
you
can
just
you
go.
define the dimensions?
Well, there's like pre-built dimensions, and like you choose which one, but you can get like a 4x4x8 crate, or a four by
Oh,
six by
interesting.
four crate. And they have like nice little hinge seals. Um,
Huh.
much. I mean, for $1,000, like it would cost us 2 or 3 times that usually to make a crate for one of our systems.
Yeah, my crates cost me like whatever the screws are.
Well,
My,
I,
my dad
I'm
goes and
calculating
cuts
the
the
labor.
Yeah, my dad goes and cuts the trees down, and then he's like thrilled to have something to do in retirement, so he builds them at no cost to us. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
it's
Well,
pretty cheap for
I do not
us.
have such an arrangement.
Yeah. He'll literally like we'll give him a pallet dimension and be like, we don't have the lumber for that. So he's like, I gotta go cut this tree.
Yeah.
All right, Dad, have fun. So works
Uh,
out.
for for me, for sales, I guess if I'm being like totally candid and honest with myself, like I have not had the real enthusiasm for sales I normally have. Mostly because like I know we're understaffed. It's so much work to train up all these people. We sold so much stuff in September, and honestly have a decent cash cushion. Um, to where I'm like, man, like I'll go after the good leads, but like the kind of medium leads right now, it's hard for me to like get super motivated and to go after them. I'm trying to do it from a place of discipline rather than normally there's some excitement there, right? Um,
I don't think that's a negative thing
yeah,
because I've seen that in my personality over the last several years where it's like you just come to find people that you're going to work well with, and then others that throw up red flags.
yeah.
And it's the ones that, like, I'll use an example. Just had a call with a lead that I've been working with over the last 6 months. I just really enjoyed working with him, and I spent a lot of extra effort educating him about automation. Where typically those would probably be some engagements, but his just level of enthusiasm, and I knew he wasn't going to get the budget. I was like, I'm just going to do this for fun because I really just like this guy.
Yeah.
And now he's got this giant project that looks like we're going to have, it should be just over $1 million CapEx getting approved. But it's just like, I don't know. I still do some of those things where it's like, when somebody just seems like such a genuine individual, you're like,
Oh yeah, I'm
like you
I'm
said, you
with you
move
on that.
mountains. You just move mountains for those people.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I'm still happy to move mountains for those people. But it's like every once in a while, like those sales, the red flags come after the deal has been initiated. I mean, you talked about this, offline with a similar situation you had, um, and it's navigating those things that's difficult, right? And I think I'm getting pretty good at navigating them, but I guess it's like normally, I want to be like on top of the hot leads, kind of, normal, like call level follow up on, every week, every couple of weeks, every month on a
Yeah.
medium level. And then the low level leads, if we get to them, we get to them, right? Um, it kind of has, all those have shifted down a layer where like even the hot leads are kind of like a medium level of follow up and enthusiasm. And the medium level leads are just what discipline I can muster up.
Yeah. The post sale red flags are always the like
Oh
right
man.
as you're really
Yeah.
close to it. Red flags, those are
Yeah.
tough ones. Yeah. I, I got a question around that though. Is it typically because another cook gets put in the kitchen for you? Because that is like, I would
Oof.
say 80% of the time, if we have a challenge, we've defined the project, we've worked with somebody for 6 months or a year, or maybe we've even started the project. I've seen this where like we're stage one and we've signed off on stage one, we've procured parts and we're building it. All of a
Hmm.
sudden the point of contact changes or another cook gets
Oh
put in
yeah.
the kitchen. And then all of a sudden it's like we're reselling the machine that we've already started.
Yep.
And now there's no room to change without costs.
Right.
That's an interesting position to be in because that's where I've typically seen it is another cook gets dropped in the kitchen.
Yeah, that is the most common problem. Like the customer's needs changed. It's like, well, we're already almost done with your semi turnkey process. We put in thousands of dollars of labor into it, and they're like, well, we want to process a different part. Like, and it's that small percentage of like, well, they don't want to pay for it, and then you're just like in this, and they're like, well, we don't want the thing we originally bought, but we don't want to pay for the new thing, and it's just
Do you have termination clauses in yours?
no.
Because then
I
it's
mean, the termination clause on like a semi turnkey is you just lose the 50% deposit and don't get the
yeah,
hardware. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It seems pretty straightforward to me then. Like, yeah, if you don't want it, that's fine. This is
yeah,
this
yeah,
is the option.
yeah.
And
I,
like I've actually found that just being candid like that, like I've gained respect from customers where they wanted to change that last and then they turn into being like decent to work with. I think they sometimes just want to know what their
get away
options
with.
are. I don't know if it's necessarily what they can get
Yeah,
away with. They just want to know what are their options. And usually it's somebody that's just like, just tell to me black and white and I'll make a decision.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it all depends, and I think part of this, Matt, is like the mindset of the customers, like a lot of our customers, they might have one 5-axis machine, and they view it as a very like one and done, like, okay, how much can I squeeze the vendor? Whereas I think a lot of your customers are like, okay, well, we need to, we found a good automation builder. We need to keep that relationship good. We need to make sure that they're making margins and they're happy, so that when we inevitably need the next machine, it's go go go. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
very fair because like the couple of really good accounts that we've put on recently, we're mapping out literally years into the future. And that's something that's been communicated to the teams. It's like, arguably, if we execute all of these to plan, customer maintains plan as we're seeing, we could maintain current size and not do another sale or bring in a new customer for the foreseeable future,
yep,
which is an interesting position to be in, which is where I'm looking at a massive growth year in 2026 if we execute as we say we plan to.
yep. Cool. I guess for like other, I guess I kind of generally talked about my lack of enthusiasm for sales right now. Uh, for marketing, I think marketing has kind of suffered as well as I've been caught up in ops. We have just a kick-ass SEO guy who's been really helping us get more organic traffic. We've been looking at like onboarding various advertising firms to help us manage our Google and Meta ads. I can't say I'm super sold on any of them. I had one firm. I kind of only take small vendors on referral now. I had one firm I was really excited about, and then they got into their like deep dive presentation, and it was all so surface level. I was like, what happened from the energy
Mm.
and the level of detail from the last call? Like, how did we get to, we barely did basic due diligence, and we're showing you like
Interesting.
products. I don't even know where they found some of these product images from when the business had just started. I'm like, that's what you're going to advertise? Like,
AI.
like a product 4 generations back? Like, no thanks. The I think the big thing for me is that I really need to get a focus back into marketing and sales, and the way to do that is to make sure I get the engineering talent there one way or another. And I guess I also have to be prepared. Like if these couple of guys don't take it, if no one takes one of their offers, like, all right, let's go, just turn the Indeed ad back on, right? Let's go through another 200 candidates and like, play the game, find somebody great, and like that's do what it takes.
Exactly. I agree with getting you into the sales and marketing. That's nobody else can do that better at your current size.
Yeah,
So that's a solid call.
cool. What's our next section?
Yeah, I was trying. There's something else you said that I wanted to. Maybe it'll come back to me later. My brain's a little fried. Engineering and R&D. So I don't have anything too crazy. We've got kind of a cool one that we're doing throughout longevity testing. What we found is from lot to lot, the amount of variability on the product that we're running is greater than what was originally understood or scoped. And thankfully, the customer is agreeing on that. So what we're doing is we're doing an offset for the product that they're going to be able, no different than putting an offset on, how you do your work coordinate in a CNC machine. And then all
Yep.
of our point clouds for packing that case are going to have a variable that moves up on that, plus or minus 5 millimeters for all products. So that's a fun change, which I'm actually excited to have that into our library for case packing and palletizing, because I think it's something that arguably we should have on every machine moving forward anyways.
Gotcha.
So
Makes
it's a
sense.
fun engineering challenge to have in the pack and palletize at the finish line. But teams handling it well?
Yeah. For us, engineering wise, I mean, so we made some minor improvements to the UMC 750 intro load. This one was kind of a weird, like this most recent intro load, kind of a weird configuration. Like, you ever have those deals where you're just like not super confident in the, like you should have scoped it out, you should have priced it higher, like and you end up eating some of the cost. Um, but at least for us, like when we do that, some improvement comes out of it. Um, this one, they are basically loading a part bigger than we've ever loaded before. And we came up with this whole extended gripper finger configuration, rolled that out. We doubled the pallet weight capacity. We did all of these things, but it did take a lot of extra time. But at least we're able to now. I think I'm rolling that in to kind of become the standard configuration that I try to sell. Not the base configuration, but like, hey, you should get this option, just like you should probably get the PLC.
Yeah, it seems. Or I guess, are you phrasing that as a question there? Have I ever done that?
No. I'm saying that like that's like the one engineering thing we worked on was
Okay.
really fine tuning, and there were some like parameter changes and some custom G code to implement this. And essentially, one thing that I try to do when we're making these like incremental improvements is try to find a deal, and then like sell the system to a customer. Obviously, you're on the hook to make it work if there's any problems or whatever, but at least you're hopefully able to scrape by, if not break even, hopefully at least at a small profit, and then roll that in as a product improvement.
Yeah, that's arguably every project in develop history
Yep.
has had some portion of that where we layer, all right, this is the unknown, this is the risk, this is where we have to build IP for our future business, because growing a ground up automation business is a lot of IP's got to get built in a
Yep.
short period of time, and it just burns cash.
Yep. And I guess one like other little engineering thing, like I scoped it out, but I'm not like personally working on it. We're working on right now, we added like a Fusion viewer to a few of our products on the website, so you could like pan around.
When you showed us that. That was cool.
Now the Fusion viewer though, like you like click a button and it emails, and Autodesk captures that email and adds it to like their marketing. And I'm like, oh, well, I want to capture the email. I want to send it, we'll email the customer the file, and then, we capture the data. And so that's something we're implementing. So it's been kind of difficult of like setting up the email chains, superimposing our little box on top of the Fusion box and getting everything to work. But kind of half engineering, half marketing.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that would work for our MRS, or if anybody even wants to download that for their factories. That'd be interesting. It's one of those where I'm like, would that marketing be just let's do it because it's cool, but it has no value, so it's a waste of time? Or is it something our customers would value? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I do like how that looks on your website. It turned out really sharp.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of work to go. And like our website just, it's good, but like there's so much work to do. And that's like,
it's just never done. I say,
yeah,
I just said that today in a marketing meeting. Every year I say our website sucks. Like every year we have our end of year marketing, and we've come so far, and I'm like, you know what? This website sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the team's like, every year, Matt, you say it. And I'm like, I know, because that's just how I feel. It's just like, it sucks for where we're at now and where we want to go. If we would have had, based on where we were and what we wanted, it's what we want. It's what we got done, what we planned.
Right. Yeah.
But now it's, I don't know how to better explain that.
And then you got like these massive mega corporations. So you have like the most generic, like shitty website you've ever seen. And
yeah, the big thing for me is I know I keep harping on this, but like continuing to build out our knowledge base and our education tools on our website with AI that can't just be blogs or type copy like we had done in the past, because anybody can go and do that.
Yeah.
So then we're having to figure out, how do we build tools that people can download? How do we have ebooks people can download? How do we have videos that people can watch? Has been the big initiatives for next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, like without like a full-time video person and a face of the business who isn't you. Like, Haas does the Mark Terryberry thing where, he jumps on in front of the camera, and then like without having full-time staff there, like there's just nothing you can do for marketing that's better than playing the content game, but it is just so much work.
Yeah.
And, when you're sub 10 FTEs, like it's so hard to justify, like, I'm going to put 1.5 people worth into that bucket.
Yes, I
Yeah.
understand. I don't know. I'm very torn on ads. I'm trying to figure out if every year we spend dollars on ads. Every year I'm disappointed on the ad results, and I'm trying to figure out if Develop spends any dollars on ads next year, or if we deploy that into the other areas that I think are of value.
Yep.
But
That's one thing, like, I know we could loop in back to marketing. I guess I keep pulling this back there, but
that's all right.
I'm trying to figure out how to really make sure our conversion events happen properly. Like we have one ad on Meta that it hasn't had a ton of money poured into it, but it's like a 17x ROAS, which I've just never seen before.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Part of it is like I usually will go in and overhaul our ads every time they stop performing. Like these ones haven't really stopped performing, so I never went in and did the overhaul to even see that. So it was like the ad management firm that was like, "Hey, look at this ad. This is doing pretty well." And I was like, "Well, first off, you guys didn't like give me anything of value or tangible, but I'm like, shit, I should pour more money into this one ad if it's throwing off money like that, right?" I mean, that was like the pre like adpocalypse Apple cookie change.
That'll be like one of those where you double down next week and then the game changes.
I know, yeah, but like you double down while you can, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Sorry, what were we talking? What was I? Where were we before I pulled us back to marketing?
We were talking about ads. Prior to that, we were talking about engineering, and we were talking about the downloadables on your website was kind of where we got from there.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the never-ending website project.
Yep.
That's one thing too, like that our SEO guy really wants us to work on is getting, we have like all these customer videos, like people running our grippers or grabbers or whatever, going and getting it set up to have like, those little Instagram videos like on the associated product page is just like a conversion booster.
Yeah, I agree with him a lot on that. I highly recommend you do that. That might be one of your next biggest things you should do for your website.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, everything is so much work, and it's, yeah. I guess
oh
we
my
can
gosh,
talk about
Michael. Oh my gosh. Everything is so much work.
I know. I'm tired. I've been working too much.
I had to call you out on that.
Yeah.
So, all in good fun. Company-wide updates and improvements. Anything that you're happy about from last week?
I like the biggest one that I've been supposed to do forever and I've been just dragging my feet is overhauling our scorecard, like our weekly scorecard. I usually don't like the guru guys. What was the one guy? Alex Hermosi. I can't stand that guy, for instance. These guys that are like just grind. There's this guy, I'm gonna find his name. That like the first video I found like in a long time. His name is Ryan Deis, Deiss. It's like been the first channel I've watched in a long time where it seems like it's like practical business advice from someone farther along than you. And I've been implementing their kind of CEO dashboard template, which I think that was a big part of like the burden for me of like where to even start. The biggest thing is I've just been trying to focus on working on the business, and along with that, working on the things, I don't know if you've seen that like business quadrant of like, urgent, important, not important.
Yeah.
And the issue people run into is anything that's urgent and important always gets addressed, but then the not urgent but important things don't get addressed.
And those are typically the ones that move the needle the most.
Those are the ones that move the needle. And those are things like, when we did our cart overhaul in Shopify, and we did started like building a newsletter system, right? Like those things have led to a lot of dollars, but I keep going into the urgent and important. Customer ABC did something totally out of spec and crashed their machine, right? Like, and I'm trying to be more disciplined of like, okay, you don't have to respond to that in 5 minutes. You can respond to it at the end of the day or tomorrow morning. Focus on the thing that is, important but not urgent.
Exactly. Have you looked at data rails ever? They serve me ads familiar. Like nobody's business. I had them do a quote for me once. It was many months ago. I don't even remember how much it cost, but I ended up not going down that road, but it's been one that's popped back up again where I'm like, I wonder if I should reevaluate that again
You
from
know,
a finance reporting
yeah.
and doing a lot of this stuff for us, because now that we're going into our next growth curve here, the board's asking me for different visuals, different metrics, so they can help make better decisions at the numbers we're going to be dealing with.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And they're like, yeah, what you've been doing is great, Matt. But it was kind of, I felt like I was getting patted on the head or shoulder, if you will. And they're like,
Right.
you need to step up your game now. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
heard loud and clear.
So we at one point we used Databox, which imagine is pretty similar. Can kind of pull from webhooks from anywhere. It was pretty expensive, but it worked well. At another point, we I had this vision of it like auto updating and doing all these things, and Priscilla built it all out, and then it like kind of didn't work. I'm gonna send you this video. It's got a kind of a cheesy YouTube title: "How to Run a $10 million plus business in 1 hour per week." That's not at all what the video talks about, but
It sounds like a 40-hour or
yeah, yeah,
4-hour work week kind of book.
yeah.
Good for
It's not
kindling.
actually like, anyways. But the actual content there is really good. And one of the things, like having tried to automate this scorecard so many times, part of the premise is to not automate it at all, like to not build in any automation whatsoever, so that you have to go look at the numbers and kind of passively think about them as you're spending that 15 minutes filling it out every week, right? And I like that take, especially having burnt countless hours of my time and staff time trying to automate those webhooks and those pull-ins and implement those services.
That's interesting, because our scorecard is still currently the ugliest pile of Excel crap,
Yeah.
because I'm not good at Excel. And it was something that I was like, all right, we need this scorecard. It was something that got built on a Sunday, and it's lived with us for now a year and a half or something.
Yep.
But now it's like, all right, we're layering in some more of that. But
What are the KPIs, by the way? Like, that's one thing that I've been struggling with is like, okay, yeah, revenue, we have kind of our different revenue buckets, cash collected, social media posts, web traffic, conversion rate. Like, those things are pretty straightforward for me to wrap my head around. But when it gets down to things like the product quality, customer satisfaction, like, I don't know how to really build out KPIs yet to be
I
able
think
to.
those are so squishy at our
Yeah.
size of company. I think a lot of our KPIs, or I shouldn't say I think, really the way we've been moving our business is KPIs driven around project milestones and Gants. And then did we hit the dates we planned for? Why didn't we? Or what challenges did we have because of, all right, we hit the date, but our hours went over. And why is that? Those are the KPIs that we're really looking at, is how much more efficient can we get building machines is
Yep.
the biggest thing we're at. So like one of the dashboards I'm having the team build out, because I've had one, but it's one that I want better so the team can see it more visibly, is we have our projected milestone dollars where we're going to invoice this date for stage 1, stage 2, whatever it is. And then there's the actual when we get those dollars from the customer, but then forecasting that out for the next, because a lot of our projects are 6 months to a year and a half, and showing the team how all those stack and play and giving them the visuals that moves forward. And that's getting put into our one plan is what we're looking at doing. So right when we're in that dashboard weekly looking at Gants and KPIs, are we hitting our forecasted plans? And then also, are we on track for our financial metrics? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people like saying, I don't care about the money. It's, not what I do business. Like,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what makes this world go round. That's what our team members come here for, is to make a dollar. We do profit sharing. They want to see that we can drive towards profit. So we just lean to the dollars.
Yeah, I've been rereading this book. It's called The Goal. I guess listening to, because I only pretty much do audiobooks. But it's a weird book. It's all like super narrative driven. But it's kind of about like this guy who runs like a manufacturing plant. He's like the plant manager, on how he changes himself and his mindset to be good at running the business. I read this book a long time ago and I was
What's
not
it
ready
called?
for it. It's called The Goal. It's an older book.
This sounds really.
And I swear I read this book when I was like 19, and I was just not
Oh yeah, I have
at
this
the
on my
level.
shelf. I don't. Yeah.
I think that's been a good little perspective changer for me. I'm really trying just to focus on, okay, like what are the things that I can do that build a system at every point possible.
Mm-hmm. standardizing
Yeah.
processes.
Well, like, for me too, it's like looking at like that important, not urgent category of like I need to hire a person to run department X so that I can go and execute marketing and sales better, right? And I guess the other thing that I really got from this book is like a reminder, like the goal of the business is to make money. Like it's not to buy cool toys, like especially after having spent 17 grand on some things that aren't going to ROI nearly fast enough because they're cool. Like between reading this book and reflecting, like, oh, I don't actually have the time to go on the floor and use them. I'm like, okay, that was a mistake, and I need to learn from it.
Yeah, I could share some stories of that where my mindset was set early on when I started my business
Yeah,
because I've seen where it's a lifestyle business for a lot of people.
yeah,
And that's not what I want to develop to be. I don't know what your goals are, but lifestyle businesses are great things. I have nothing against
yeah,
them
yeah,
if that's your goal, but they are literally to feed the owner's lifestyle is
yeah.
what they are. And I don't know. That's where a lot of people give me crap because I don't take enough out in payroll to myself and what I
Right.
do there.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm looking 10 years out. I'm not worried about how much I make today as long as I can pay for the food I need
Hmm.
to eat.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I want a lifestyle business. Like, it just like it would be such an easy path, and it's
Oh, it
not what I
sounds
want. Right.
I
Like,
disagree. I don't think it's
uh,
easy. I think it's hitting
yeah.
a point of comfort, but yet it's still because arguably, I'd say you could just say, I want a lifestyle business, Michael, and you have one.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying is like I already have it. Like, part of me wants to not push all the time, and maybe this is the burnout speaking a little bit.
I
But
It'd be
like,
interesting to see if you let off the gas for 3 months, if you actually felt like it was any easier though.
oh, I'd become
I don't think
miserable.
it I
Like,
don't think it
no.
would be easier.
Yeah.
I think it's worse.
It's worse for me and you. I don't think it's worse for everybody. And that's almost what I mean. It's like I know I don't have it in me to just run a lifestyle business, right? Like I want growth. I want to do new and exciting things. Like I want to keep feeling that sense of progress and achievement. And I guess part of me is like saying, man, I wish I didn't want it so bad. Because there's times like this one where just running a business is like really fucking hard. And I'm tired and I'm exhausted, but I still have to show up.
Yeah, I understood. All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Company-wide updates and improvements. We're still in there, I guess. We were talking about scorecards is where we
yeah.
last
Do you have
were.
any other CI stuff you want to talk about?
We cleaned out the one plan, so teams completely migrated to one plan. We're now in management there. We're looking at getting our scorecards now pulled in there. I'm classifying that as management, not part of the CI. We're just moving them from Excel.
Yep.
Um, the other one, our sales tool, is classified as done. It worked pretty darn good from the last show. Not sure we're going to get the ROI on the time that was spent
Yeah.
on it. But I think there was some really good. I think where the ROI is going to come is actually in 2026. I'm going to reallocate some software budget to help on automating some of our HubSpot and that portion of our sales because our software engineer learned so much about how HubSpot works and working
Yep.
within that API that he's like, I think I found while we were wanting to save you time here, we didn't save as much, but I got to make sure that I'm not chasing shiny and do my
Yeah.
due diligence here.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So I'm really evaluating what our budgets look like going into 2026. I'm a little behind in where I want to be for that right now.
Gotcha.
So any
Cool.
other CIs for you or?
No, not that I can think of. I'm sure there's some I've been working on, but
All right. Anything personal? You sold your plane.
well, did you want to do like an accountability item? I think that's the other thing we could do before
Accountability. Anything stand out to you that you think I need to be focusing on?
I'm not sure. The nothing standing out now.
Let's say I'm going to look at this week. Feels like I've been pushing stuff from day to day where I needed to get them done. Yes, I know what I need to do. It's related to two really good clients that we onboarded recently, and I need to do some just details and due diligence that just make sure that the process remains as smooth as I want it to.
Gotcha.
And that's probably the best way to put it. Is it just some some niceties that could easily just be not done, but at the end
Mhm.
of the day, that's part of our brand, and I need to continue to do
Yeah.
that. So that's what I'm going to focus on as my personal accountability that I'll type up for this week.
Yeah. For me, I guess my accountability item is like when I come back next week, I want to have that scorecard like actually built out. Maybe not perfect. I got to be okay with it being a living document, but having, all the last at least October and up to date filled out and ready to go.
That's good.
Cool. Any personal stuff?
Actually, I have one other thing for your scorecard that I found
Oh,
worked
sure.
really well for us this year is I did department budgets. I don't know if
Hmm.
you do that on your scorecard.
Nope, not yet.
And then I tested for a couple of the departments having a main person that was running those budgets.
Yep.
Uh, that's something that I found worked really well because the team definitely, when they saw how dollars were being spent and what the budget was, I saw a mind shift on what they were asking for. And it was what the business needed or what the
Right.
right things were, not just like, hey, Matt, what do you think of this for the business? They were literally figuring out how to best utilize those budgets.
Yep.
I thought that was really good. And then showing that it's literally, here's the marketing budget, here's this budget, and then showing it over the months. And then I did a percentage trend. Are we,
Yep.
by this month or by middle of the year, you should have 50% remaining. Do we have 50% remaining when we get to halfway through the year? Teams
Yep.
seem to really, really appreciate.
Yep.
Might be something to consider.
It's probably too early, like mostly because like I need to be more disciplined about updating our financial projections and doing the month to month comparison. And there's steps to get to before breaking down to that level of granularity, right?
When you get into forecasting in that way, maybe we talk offline. I've got some tools that lenders have provided me over the last several years that have really helped us out. Some
Yep.
good ones, some ones that I just don't touch because they didn't
Yeah.
yield what I needed.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Cool.
cool. I'm good to go. Thanks,
Cool.
Michael.
Well, let's wrap up there.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Thank you so much for listening to Matt and I's conversation this week on the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend or give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next week to continue sharing our respective journeys in life, business, and industrial automation. Thanks so much.